Hi guys, welcome to Denden channel today. Today I'm taking you into my kitchen to show you how I make my meatloaf, and I've been making this for my nephew and a few friends of mine for the last couple of months, and they love it, they like it. So I want to share with you guys today. So first of all, when you go to the supermarket, make sure you buy the meat that has like the 3-pack in there. You got beef, you got veal, you got turkey, and sometimes you got pork. So a lot of people don't eat pork, so you can substitute the pork for veal. And if you don't eat veal, you can just use turkey and beef, and you're good to go. Because you know, people out there that are Jewish people, they they love to make things, but they don't mix pork. They don't eat pork, and they don't mix dairy with meat. So I'm going to show you guys step by step how you can make this thing without dairy. You can make it without dairy, with dairy. So today I'm making it with dairy. All right. So I put those 3 meats in, and I'm going to add turkey to it. Guys, I wash my hands because this is a meal that you have to prepare with your hands. If you rather use the gloves, go ahead. But today I'm using my hands. So I'm using 4 kinds of meat today: turkey, beef, veal, and turkey, meat, veal, and pork. Those are my 4 meat that I'm using today in this meatloaf. All right. So I took everything from overnight, last night. Everything is pretty much mushy and ready to season and place in the oven for about an hour, cover, and about 45 minutes uncovered. So here we go. So I just want to take you guys along with me step by step. So in the refrigerator, I have my cut up season that I prepared from earlier today. So I'm going to take that out now. I cut up 1 red bell pepper, sweet pepper, 1 onion, and 4 peg of garlic. All right, so I pre-cut these earlier today so I can mix them in the beef, the minced beef, the minced meat right now, because they kind of call it minced meat because there are 4 different kind of meat in this meatloaf. All right. And as I said, if you don't eat pork, you can substitute it with something else. If you don't eat veal, you just use the turkey and the beef, and you're good to go. You get a delicious, delicious meatloaf. All right. So right now, I'm going to place, first I'm going to put some garlic powder in there. All right. This is my garlic powder that I use in my meat. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in there. I'll say probably, if you want to measure with spoon, a teaspoon, probably half a teaspoon. You're sprinkling it. It all depends on how much you're making. I put a little bit of Larry's in there. You know, some people are hypertension. You can use Mrs. Dash. I love Mrs. Dash. Just a little to season the meat. Okay. Then I put some black pepper in mine. A little dash. You know, once you're in the kitchen cooking, you know, you don't measure stuff anymore. You kind of have an idea, you know, how much you use and what you want to use. You know, me, I put a little bit of everything. This is my accent. I put a little bit of that in there. And then I have my all-purpose seasoning. I put a little bit of dash in there. But if you want to just simplify it, you just put a little garlic powder, onion powder, Mrs. Dash if you're hypertension, or any little season that you have in the house that you really season meat with. It is okay to put a little bit in there because it will give the meat flavor when you add the other ingredients that I'm about to tell you that you put into the meatloaf. All right. So after I put those seasons in there, I actually break 3 eggs earlier, and I took the eye out. My mom always teach me to take the eye out. If you see an eye in an egg, it's a little white area in that egg. When you break the egg and you see it, my mom said that's the eye, and that's what I've been calling it all these years, the eye of the egg. So I took that out earlier, and I put them aside so, you know, we can go with the flow when I start to make this. So I'm just going to mix it all together. Just mix it in. Just mixing up the egg, putting it all together, and then I'm just going to pour it into the meat. we go. Just pouring it into the meat right now. All right. Once I pour that into the meat, I'm going to put my breadcrumbs in. All right. I really love this breadcrumbs. You know, it's Italian style. Love it, love it, love it. I'm putting my breadcrumbs in. So I'll say if you're making 2 to about 5 pounds of different kind of ground beef to make your meatloaf, just use your discretion how much breadcrumbs to use, because you don't want to get the meatloaf too hard on the inside. You want it like medium, a little soft, a little firm, you know, just a little firm to get it going, and that will work fine. So I sprinkle some breadcrumbs in there, just enough. I'll say probably half a cup of breadcrumbs. That works perfect. Then I'm going to put my pasta sauce in there. I'm only using a little bit into the meat right now, and then the rest I'm going to sprinkle over the meatloaf before I put it in the oven. So I'm going to put probably 3/4 of a cup in there in the meat, and then I'm going to mix that together, and then I'm going to sprinkle the onions and the sweet pepper and the garlic that I cut up earlier in it. All right, so I'm just sprinkling that in it right now, and some cheese. I put a little cheese in mine, and if you're Jewish or any other religion that you don't mix dairy and meat together, you don't have to put this in there. Whatever else I tell you earlier, you add that in there and it will turn out perfect. So I always put a little bit of this in mine, just a little bit in there, in the meat, just a little bit. All right, not too much over. That's my oven that needs ready, so I gotta pick up the pace. All right, I actually going to mix this in. So guys, this is my secret ingredient, Splendor. You put a little sugar in it, and that's my secret ingredients. So I'm going to open one Splendor. I'm going to put it in, put one into the meat. All right, putting one into the meat, at least 2 into the meat. All right, and then I'm going to put, I'm going to mix the mix the pasta sauce with some ketchup. I'm going to mix it into a bowl, and then I'm going to sprinkle that, spread that over the meatloaf and put it in the oven before I put it in. So let me get another container. Okay, I can use the same one that I put the onions in. I'm just going to pour out the rest of the pasta sauce in this bowl, because I'm going to need that pretty soon. I'm going to shake this out with some water. People don't use tap water, you use your bottled water, whatever you want to use to put into it. It is fine. All right. So that's that, and I put 2 more of the Splendor in there, right? And then I go get my ketchup from the refrigerator, and I put a little ketchup in there too. All right. I just want to mix it up, because once my hand is finished mixing the meat together, all the minced meat together. I keep making mistakes with that, guys. When I mix all the minced beef together, my hands are going to be dirty, so I want to go right into placing the sauce on top of the meatloaf and then place it in the oven. You know, and then I put a little bit more cheese into the sauce that I'm going to put on top of the meatloaf. And I just mix it all together in, guys. Mix it all together in. Alright, now it's mixed in. I'm going to start mixing my meatloaf together. Alright, there it goes. I'm going to wash my hands now because I opened the refrigerator and stuff earlier. So I wash my hands. And now my bacon dish is already over here prepped for me. I place it here. It's everything I need to reach in arm's length. And I'm going to mix everything together now. Here we go. Just mix it together, guys. Really mix it in. Can put the gloves on. Because I know sometimes we ladies, we get our nails done. We don't want to mess up our nails. Or even have our hands smell like meat. Because even sometimes you wash your hands, you still can smell that meat smell a little bit on your hands before it evaporated. But I want to really get in and mix this together. So my hands are pretty much the best bet right now mixing this together. All right, so just mix it together, get all the meat blending together right now. And you can actually feel it if it's too soft or it's too firm while you're mixing it, because you might want to add a little bit more breadcrumbs to it if you're mixing it and you see it's too soft, and that will firm it up a little bit more for you. All right, so just about finished mixing it in. Just mixing everything together. I'm actually making this video today on my Apple iPad. I got it, and it's wow, the quality of this iPad is amazing. Really, really amazing. Apple iPad, it's wonderful. And I'm about to change my cell phone for an Apple phone. All these years I have Samsung Galaxy, but this Apple Pad is going to be over right now. So let me get back to preparing this meatloaf. All right, guys, I'm mixing it in. All right. All right. So I finished mixing it in. This is how it looks like. Mix it all in. I'm going to place it into the container that I'm actually making it. And I'm going to just spread it out. Spread it out into the dish that you want to bake this meatloaf in. Spread it out. Or sort it out. Spread it all out. You're using a baking tin, it's fine. Spread it all out. Get a shape. Put it into the shape of the baking tin that you're using. The baking container that you're using can be round, can be square. As long as it holds the meat that you're about to bake in it, it is just fine. Alright, so once I put that in, you can grease the bottom of it with a little olive oil. You know, but sometimes the meat has a lot of fat in there, so you don't have to grease it if you don't want to. Alright, I'm going to wash my hands because I forgot to put some olive oil into my sauce. So I want to put a little olive oil into my sauce right now before I place it on top of the meatloaf. So I put about a tablespoon. Alright, I put a tablespoon in there. I'm going to mix it all together now. Mix it all together, and all right, guys, I'm mixing it all together. I'm gonna mix it all together. Once I mix it all together, I'm just gonna sprinkle this on top of it. Don't worry how it looks like. Just sprinkle it on top of the meatloaf. Alright, and you use a spoon to just spread that juice all over the meatloaf. Right, spread all of that juice all over it, that pasta sauce all over it. And once it's over it, everything will actually cook into the meatloaf when it starts cooking in the oven. So don't worry about it. So this is how it looks. It's ready to go into the oven. You're going to cover it and bake it for an hour. And after you bake it for an hour, you take the cover off and then you leave it in there for another 35 to 40 minutes. It all depends on how well you like your meat. You leave it in there for, so bake it for about an hour, cover it for an hour, and then you open it, and then you bake it unopened for another 35 minutes to 40 minutes. It all depends on how you like your meat. All right, so that's what we're doing for today. I see my nephew looking over my shoulders. Yeah, I'm making one of his favorites. So I'm going to cover it now and put it in the oven for 1 hour. So here we go, guys. Cover it with a piece of foil paper. And I'm going to place it in the oven. And when I come back, it should be ready. And that's it. Just put it in the oven, cover it for 1 hour, bake it for 1 hour covered, and then open it after an hour and bake it for another 35 minutes to 40 minutes. And that will be your meatloaf. I have other things that I'm preparing today, and I don't want to make the video too long and drawn out. I just want you guys to actually get the recipe, know how to prepare it and how to cook it. So I'm going to have a photograph at the end of this video and show you the finishing product and how it looks like. Okay, so I'll be right back, guys. All right, stay tuned. Do not go away. Stay tuned.